Recording has
Okay, sir.
started. So, today we want to look at parameterized functions. A function with parameter. Let's discuss the meaning of parameterized functions together. In some of our previous classes, we did something like this. We created a function my func, and we say alert hello. So let's get a button to call on this function. So click me, then click so that we're adding an event to it. I'll click on this button, call on my func. So I'll click on this button, call on my func. So when we click, we have this hello. Now let's move on. Now we may choose not to use event anyway. We may choose to call on the function directly without using any events. So immediately the page loads. When it gets here, it will call on the function and it will come back and run the codes inside this function. So let's refresh our coming. So when you refresh now, we have this hello. Let's move on. So we want to look at parameterized function and the meaning of parameterized function. But we go back to using an event to explain what I want to. Imagine I have 3 buttons on the screen. This is button 1, button 2, button 3. So here I want to say call tire. Here I want to say call Kenny. And here I want to say call exit. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've been correct.
Happy. So we have these 3 buttons on the screen. When we click on the first one, it's going to, we want to call on Taye. When we click on the second one, we want to call on Kenny. When we click on the third one, we want to call on Exi. So when we click on the first one, we want to say, hello Taye, how are you doing? When we click on the second one, we want to say, hello Kenny, how are you doing? When we click on the third one, we want to say, hello Exi, how are you doing? So let's get the 3 function. We can say, let's get a function called call Taye. Then we can now say, hello Taye, how are you doing? So I'll create another function called call Kenny. Then we say, hello Kenny, how are you doing? Then let's get the third one. Then we call it call exit. Then we say, hello exit, how are you doing? So we have the 3 functions here. Next is, we want to hook these events with this 3 function. We want to hook these 3 events with these 3 functions. So let's do that together. So for the first one, we'll call on the call Taye. For the second one, we'll call on the call Kenny. For the third one, we'll call on call exit. So these are the 3 functions. So if I click on the first one, it's going to run the codes inside the function call Taye. When I click on the second one, it will run the codes inside the function call Kenny. And when I click on the third one, it If you want the code inside code exit, let's run that on the screen and see the results together. So I can click on code menu now, and we have this. Then we can click on this, and we have hello, let's say how are you doing. We can click on this, and we have hello, Taye, how are you doing. Are we still together? Alexa. Alexa. Hello, Prof. Please, can you hear me, sir? Hello, Prof. Hello. Hello. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me now? Hello. Please, can you hear me? Let me check if the network is on my end. Hello, Prof. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Call kan ló wọlé lọ́dọ̀.
Okay. Èmi ti ń rò bóyá àtọ̀dọ̀ mi network ti ń dàrú, mo ti ń wò.
Ọ̀dọ̀ yín kọ́ sí.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. So we've I think what we are doing is when I click on anyone, it's going to run its corresponding function. I've been now.
Yes, sir. You are not presenting again, sir.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back and present my screen.
All right, sir.
Okay, so when I click on anyone, it's going to run the function. Now let's look at these three functions together, and let's look at something interesting about them. I don't know, look at these three functions, and you will notice that they look alike. I mean, the codes inside them, they look alike.
Yes, sir.
Look alike. So when you have functions that look alike like this, you are allowed to compress them together. I think that's what I would say. You're allowed to compress them together. Now, what you're going to do is, instead of creating three different functions that do similar things, we can create a single function, or a so-called super function, that will be able to do the same thing. Do you get it, sir?
Yes, sir.
We can create just a single function, a super function, that will be able to do the same thing that these three functions are doing. The advantage of that super function is that, number one, it makes our code shorter. Number two, it makes the code more flexible. What do I mean? Imagine I want to create another function called, or I want to create another button called maybe call blessing. Let's say I want to have a button called call blessing, and I want to say maybe when I click on that button, I want to do something like hello blessing, how are you doing? Then it means that I need to first create a function called call blessing. Then this function can now alert hello blessing, how are you doing? Are you getting it, sir?
Point two.
Okay, so let's call on the function here. So okay, so if for any reason tomorrow we need to create this function, then it means we need to write a new function, then we need to create a new function here. So if we want to create another function again, maybe call Tolu, then I will have to create another function called call Tolu, and not like that. So we can reduce our whole stress by creating a single super function that will do the work of all these functions. So let's do that together. So once you create just a single function, but this single function will be able to do the work of all of this. So we just call the function. Let's create a new function. Okay, we are going to do something. I will comment out, instead of removing it, I will comment them out. And I will say call person. We want to create a single function called call person. And when we call on this single function called call person, it's going to do the work of all these four functions. Since they are doing similar things, look at it, that's the condition. Because they are doing similar things, then we can create a single function to do the work of all of them. Any questions so far?
No questions, sir.
Okay, so let's do that together. Now, look at what we want to do. When I click on this first one, we want to display hello Taye, how are you doing? When we click on this second one, we want to display hello Kenny, how are you doing? When we click on this third one, we want to display hello Exi, how are you doing? When we click on this fourth one, we want to display hello Blessing, how are you doing? And we said that the four of them we call on the same function. So let's do that together. I'll say person, since they are calling on the same function, person, person. Since the four of them are calling on the same function, then we have this. Now, if what I have here is hello, let's say I have alert, hello Taye, how are you doing? So let's say this is what we have here. Then you will agree with me that irrespective of the one I click on, it will always display hello Taye, how are you doing? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, but that's not what we want. We want to display hello Taye for this one. For this one, it will be hello Kenny. For this one, it will be hello Lexi. For this one, it will be hello Blessing. Now, the thing is that we need to empower this function in such a way that it's going to be able to know the one we clicked on among the four. Because if it's unable to differentiate them, then it's going to do the same thing for all of them. So it needs to be empowered in a way that it will be able to differentiate them from one another. So that if I click on this one, it will know that, oh, I clicked on that of Taye. Then if I click on this one, it will know that I clicked on that of Kenny. If I click on this, it will know that, oh, I clicked on that of Lexi. If I click on this, it will know that I click on that of Blessing. So it must be sensitive enough to know that this is the one we clicked on among these four, or this is the one we are trying to call on upon. Do we get it?
Okay.
Any questions so far, sir? Hello, sir. Hello. 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 Mr. Blessing. Hello. Let me check if my network is fine. Okay, it's not from my head. It's not. Okay, let's continue. So this is it. We said presently, irrespective of the one we click on, it will always display hello Taye, how are you doing? Abina.
Yes, sir.
So, but that's not what we want. We now need to empower this function. I think you wanted to ask a question the other time. Hello, sir. Hello. Prof.
Yes, sir, I'm with you.
I think you wanted to ask a question the other time.
No, sir.
Okay. So, so back to what I was saying. This will give us, all of them will give us the same thing. But like I said, we want to empower this function to be able to know the one we clicked on. So how do we go about it? This is what we're going to do. Whenever we call on a function, we are going to send a message to that function. So that function can now receive this message and know the one we clicked on. So whenever we call on that function, on this call person function, we will send a message. That particular one that we are calling on, we send a message to that function. So the function can now receive this message and know the one we call upon. Let's do something. Let's start with this. You can put a message here. I can put any message here. So here you are putting 1 here. Here I can put 6 here. Here I can put 10 here. Here I can put 20 here. So let's start with this. So when I click on this one will send 1 to this function. Do you get it?
Okay, sir.
Whatever I put here will be sent as a message to that function. So when I click on this function, this button will send this 1 to that function. When I click on this will send 6 to this same function. When I click on this will send 10 to this same function. When I click on this will send 20 to this same function. Now let's move on. Well, though we are sending a message to this function is not equipped to receive that message. Although when we click on the first one is sent to this function as a message, but this function is not equipped enough to receive any message. So that means all these messages are going to be they will be wasted, all of them. If we click on the last one, 20 will be sent to this function, but this function is not equipped enough to receive that message. So that 20 is going to be a waste. So let's now fix that part so that when we send this 20, this function will be equipped enough to receive that message. Any question?
I'm coming, sir. Go on, sir.
Okay. Alright, let's move on. So this is not equipped enough to receive that message. Let's now equip it with the necessary tools to receive the message. So in order to receive the message, you put a variable here. It's not a must this message, it can be anything. But whatever you put here must follow all the rules that guide variable declaration. Whatever you put here must follow all the rules that guide variable declaration.
Okay.
So if you click on this last one, 20 will be sent to this function, and this function will now receive it as variable anything.
Okay.
If we click on this third one, 10 will be sent to this function, and this function will receive it as variable anything.
Okay.
If we click on the first one, 1 will be sent to that function, and the function will receive it as variable anything. So we can now say alert anything plus, let's say, 4. So if I click on the first one, what will I see?
That should be 5 now.
Good, it will display 5. That's honest. So that's why we have this 5.
Great.
If we click on the last one, what are we going to see? If we click on this,
That's just 24.
go to 24. 24. Good. So that's how it works. Now, this that you are sending to that function, these values, all these numbers, 1, 6, 10, 20, these values, these things that you are sending to that function, they are known as parameters. They are known as parameters. And this variable here is known as arguments. So you are sending a parameter as the value of arguments.
Okay.
Although we do use them interchangeably. Most instead of saying this, you can just say is sometimes we use them interchangeably. Instead of parameter, you can call it argument. But that's the standard rule. These ones are known as parameters, while the variable here is known as arguments. But you may see, even because of the term, you may even see me use them interchangeably, but you know the standard name. Now, let's move on. You can send more than one. I can send this.
Okay.
Let's say 5. So when I click on this, on the first one, 1 and 4 will be sent to this function. But unfortunately, this function is only equipped enough to receive only one of them, which is the first one. Do we get it?
I'm with you, sir.
So this function is equipped enough to receive only one, although you are sending 2 messages. When you separate them with comma, it treats that as 2 messages. So, but the function is only equipped enough to receive one. So if you want it to be able to receive, if you want to be able to,
it will not throw an error.
No, it's not going to throw an error. That's how funny JavaScript is. It's not going to throw an error. So if you click on this, 1 will be sent as the value of anything, but this 4 will be a waste.
Okay.
So you can create another variable here, in this case another parameter, so another argument to receive the parameter. You can call this maybe anything. Again, whatever name you use here must follow all the rules that guide variable declaration, meaning it must not start with a number, it must not have spaces, it must not be a keyword, it must not contain special characters except dollar and underscore. So
wow.
When we click on this 1 will be sent as the value of anything, and this 4 will be sent as the value of second. So I can now say alert anything plus second. So this gives me 1 plus 4, which is 5. This, if I click on the second one, it becomes 6 plus 7, which is 13. If I click on the third one, it becomes 10 plus 15, which is 25. If I click on the last one, well, it's also 20 plus 5, which is also 25. Like it's 20 and 5, which is also 25. So let's run that and see the result. This is 25 and 13. Let's proceed. So you can send as many as you want. But
as
then,
many variables as many parameters as you want.
Yes, sir. You can send as much as you want.
Okay.
But just know that this, we call this position argument. That is, the first goes to the first, the second goes to the second, the third goes to the, if there's any third one here, the third parameter goes to the third argument.
Okay. Those parameters, I'm sorry for jumping ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. No problem, sir.
Can we get them in as array?
Yes, you can. It can be array. It can be any data type of your choice. In fact, that's the next thing I want to talk about. There is no must that they should be numbers. It can be any data type. We even want to move to strings now. We've only used numbers. We want to look at we're using strings.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Olabisi said he's waiting.
Somebody complained about that thing too yesterday.
Good evening, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, I can leo. I can boss, sir.
Àwọn àti bachelor jẹ náà. Baba,
My catch up, my video.
Okay.
I trust you.
Okay, just only by the party. I think this is the last part for today. Then my assignment is to go to the prayer. So you can use other data types except numbers. You can use strings, you can use boolean, you can use array, you can use objects, you can use anyone. So let's use other data types. Now, if I want to use string, I can't put double quotes here. I can't. Reason being that this is the beginning of a double quotes. Oh. This here is the beginning of a double quote. So when it sees this first one, probably it will think we are closing this one. Do you get it? So magakwele and close. So if you are using string, be conscious of that. So use single quotes. Since this is double quotes. Since this is
Because I've always wanted to ask that when is it necessary or imperative to use double quote and single quote, seeing that in most instances they do the same thing.
Yeah, they do this. For most times they do the same thing, except few cases like this. So this is if this is single quote, this one should be double, and if this is double, this one should be single. Although if you actually want to be stubborn, there are ways to go about it. In the course of our training, we are going to look at something we call escape. So we can escape it, but we are yet to get there. So for now, if this is double quotes, sorry. For now, if this is double quote, this should be single quote, and if this is single quote, this one should be double quotes. So we can put a string here. So I can put Taye here. I can put Kenny here. Then I can put Rexy here.
Okay.
Then I can put Blessing here.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir. Hello, Prof.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir, I'm with you, sir.
Okay. It's network that kept fluctuating from my end.
Okay. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
And I can see your screen.
Alright. So we have this. So how we change this back to anything, and of course, as explained earlier, if I click on the third one, it will alert Rexy because Rexy will be sent as the value of anything. Abina. Hello. Hello, Prof. Mr. Blessing. Hello. Mr. Busy.
I'm with you.
Okay, sir. Okay. So this is it. This Rexy will be sent as the value of anything. When we click on this last one, blessing will be sent as the value of anything. So this is your last blessing. When we click on the first one, Taye will be sent as the value of anything, and it will alert Taye like that. So let's save it and run it on the browser. This will alert Kenny. This will alert blessing. Now instead of using anything, let's use a variable that we can easily relate with. So we can just call it name. So it's still the same thing. We still have the same results. Taye. So now back to the problem at hand. Instead of now saying hello Taye, how are you doing? We can now say hello plus name how are you doing. So when we click on the first one, Taye is sent as the value of name, and this displays hello Taye, how are you doing. When we click on the second one, Kenny is sent as the value of name, and this gives hello Kenny, how are you doing. When we click on the third one, Rexy is sent as the value of name, and this gives hello Rexy, how are you doing. When we click on the last one, Blessing is sent as the value of name, and this gives hello Blessing, how are you doing. Hello Kenny, how are you doing? Hello Rexy, how are you doing? Hello Taye, how are you doing? 12.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So this is it. This Taye we sent as the value of name, and we can now concatenate it to this. So this gives hello Taye, how are you doing? This Kenny is sent as the value of name, and we can now concatenate hello Kenny, how are you doing? Do you get it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are fast running out of time. Let's discuss default parameter.
Okay, sir.
Default parameter. Now let's get another function. Another button. And this button, let's say there's nothing here. There's nothing there. So if I click on this last one, let's say hello nothing. Let me just call it called nothing. When we click on this last one, nothing will be sent as a value of name, right?
Alright.
So name will be undefined. So it's going to give me hello undefined. How are you doing? So sometimes you don't, in fact, most times you don't want that to happen. Hello undefined.
Undefined, I mean null.
Undefined.
Why is it undefined and not null?
I explained that whenever you want null, you need to state it explicitly. But undefined, in that video, where I discussed the difference between undefined and null, I explained that there are different ways by which a variable can be undefined, but there is only one way by which it can be null. For it to be null, you need to state it as null. But for it to be undefined, there are different ways, and this is one of them, by you not sending any value to it.
Okay. Undefined, different from undeclared.
No, if you don't declare a variable, you can't even use it at all. Still, you
Alright.
can't use it at all. How undefined is this? If you watch that video on that data type, you can rewatch it and you'll get the difference between undefined and null.
Let's go on, sir. Thank you.
That's the welcome, sir. Now, so maybe I don't want it to be hello undefined. I don't want that. So I can assign a default value to this. So what we are doing here is we are assigning a default value. That is, whenever there is no value for name, then you use James. But if there's a value for name, you use that value. Do you understand?
Okay.
So if I click on the first one, Taye will be sent as a value of name, meaning it's going to use Taye and not James. If I click on the second one, Kenny will be sent as the value of name. It will use Kenny and not James. But if I click on this last one, since nothing is sent, instead of name to be undefined, name will now be James. So this gives hello James, how are you doing? This is called default parameter. Where is the noise coming from? Okay. So this gives hello XA, how are you doing? If I click on this, this gives hello James.
Not my search.
Okay.
It's
Hello,
funny.
James.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. So this gives hello James, how are you doing? That is default parameter.
Okay.
So we've come to the end of today's class. Do we have any question?
Okay. I'm sorry again, sir. I tried to do something here and I want you to explain.
Okay.
It's just, when you were teaching, it just came as, something I should do along way. And it really worked. But then I want to ask why it worked.
Okay, sir.
So I'm trying to share my screen now.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
Can you see, sir?
Yes, sir.
So this is what I did. I created another input. This
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
You can see it, sir.
Yes, sir.
And this is how I use the function. I use
Okay.
this keyword.
Okay.
So when I got over here, you know, using that this, it is getting the value 7 that I put in this guy.
Yes. Yes.
Or let me put a name there now. I'm so tired. So by the time I got over here, I told it to alert the content. And Taye is showing. It's
Yes.
amazing. Pretty amazing. So I don't know the juncture. I think we'll talk about that this. But seeing it the way it works here, I was going to ask if that means that all of this that I use, because I've been looking for a way to write a cleaner code other than this one.
Okay.
So does that mean I can use this on click that I used tonight to, get all of this value to my display in the first place
Okay. Yes, you
on
can.
this calculator?
Yes, you can. Well, let me add this. The word THIS, the word THIS, is arguably the most confusing thing in JavaScript. In fact, if you check that JavaScript textbook, I dedicated a whole
Yes, sir.
topic to explain the word THIS. It's not consistent.
Okay.
The behavior of that word this is not consistent, meaning that sometimes it will behave in a certain way and some other times it will behave in another way. So when the time comes,
Okay.
we are going to, when we are done with almost every other thing, we will now pick the word this and explain it because of its inconsistency. So there is need to explain it, to dedicate a class for it and explain how this works. But if you check that textbook, you realize that it's a whole topic on its own.
Okay, sir. Are you saying we should abstain from using it for now?
Well, for now, please stay away from it and look for other ways. That's because you may
Okay, sir.
end up realizing that maybe it's not working the way you expect it to work, and you might be confused. Like, why is it not doing this? Why is it doing this? Do you understand it, sir?
All right, sir.
Any other question?
No questions, sir.
Then, Mr. Abisi, how far with our
Yeah,
assignment, sir?
okay.
Yes,
The assignment,
sir. Yes, sir.
I did something, uh, not quite impressive because it's not working.
Okay. Please share your screen.
Let
Let's
me
see
sh-
what you've done, sir.
Okay, let me show you.
Share your screen. Let us senior check your work for.
Because I didn't really get the calculator assignment.
Would like a class paper. Our God taught us 2 plus 2. He now gave us 2 raised to power x minus 3.
Yeah, calculator assignment.
Please run it on the person.
Can you? You said?
Please run it on the browser, sir.
Okay. Go live. So I did this, but the issue is it's not displaying. Number one, then I
Even
didn't
before
really get.
display. Say, I do go CSS dash.
So let me show you my code.
Okay, sir. Oh, okay. Let's look at. I think I can even see a bug here. Let's look at line 15. You have
Okay, yeah,
on click.
yeah,
You now say display does value.
yeah.
On click takes a function or a function execution. But what you wrote here, display dot value, is not a function. What you are just saying is on click equals to what? Let me look at. In fact, where is even display?
The what?
Where is the word display?
Yeah, display is on line 13.
There's no display there. This is display.
Oh, no wonder it's not sure.
But that's not the reason. That's not the reason it's not showing. Okay. Um,
Still not showing.
okay. So
Oh God, this thing is tough.
okay, let me do something now.
This thing is tough. In fact, I even tried to glance through the textbook, your textbook. Maybe I will see one or two clues. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Check on that function. There should
no.
be clue there now. On that function.
Rabisi kí ló tí kò dùn àjọra.
Ah.
Okay. Yeah. You don't display those value. Now you
Yeah.
are saying that what you want to do is you want to place whatever is inside this place on line 15. You want to put it on line 13, right?
No, the concept behind this is just that. I already gave a value on each line, so I want on click. So I
Okay.
want the value to display on the screen.
Yes, we are saying the same thing now. You want, for instance, if I click on line 15 now, I want to display 9 on line 13.
9. Yeah.
Okay, why not use the concept of function that we discussed? When you click, you attach it to a function. So that on click serves as
Okay.
an event. It serves as an event.
Okay.
So when you click on it, you attach it to a function, and that function will now be the one to send it to the screen, to line 13.
Mm,
So
Ṣé you grab?
not
Wait.
really.
let me do one line for you.
I'm trying to.
I'll share my screen now.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
So please, can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So let's say I have an input. That input has a value, and let's say the value here is 6, just like you have it. And okay, and I have um oh okay. So let's assume we still want to use and click. So we still want to use and click. So I want to display this 6 inside. I want to display this 6 inside a div. I think you also used an input. Yes, use an input. ID screen. So when I click on this one, I want to display it inside this place. So let's create a function called myfunc. That means when I click on this, on this input, it's going to do whatever I have inside my func. Abina. Mr.
Yeah.
Wala, Mr. Visis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My func. So let's start from the very basic and first alert something. Let's say alert I. So go to the browser and click now. We have this I, but that's not what we want. Instead, we want it to display 6 inside this place. So we can now say the ID of this place, which is screen. So we can now say screen dot value equals to 6. So when we click on this place, it's going to run the codes here. That is, it's going to now say screen dot value. The value of this screen now will now be 6. Do you understand it, sir?
Yeah.
So when we click on this, what's going on? Screen. Oh, I'm coming. I think the word screen has,
Yeah, it's a reserve word.
yes. So we have
I
this.
should
You said,
don't worry, sir.
so we have this. When you click on this,
I was going to say you should consider changing the, the input type to button for clarity.
okay, okay. That will make it better. Yes, sir. That will make it better. Mr. Bishop, you get this explanation well.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, sir?
So that was what I was saying the other time, that I didn't think this is the function I want to write. If I don't want to write inline function, inside that on click of my func, I would have said this dot value.
Yes, yes, that would have worked fine too.
So and when I get to line 20, I would have said my screen dot value is equal to plus equal to 6, plus equal to whatever we get as parameterized.
Perfect. Yes. You're already doing the next
Maybe
assignment I
I'll
want
do
to give.
that because I don't love the code I wrote.
You're already doing the next assignment I want to give.
Another assignment?
Yes.
See, it's a remote school.
So here is the assignment. Let's go back to our calculator.
Okay.
So this is the calculator we are trying to create. But the way we did it the first time, when you click on this one, it will call on one function. When you click on this, it will call on another function. When you click on this, it will call on another function. On and on like that. But what we want to do now is that, you see, all these numbers 0 ni o, 1 ni o, 2 ni o, dori 9 àti full stop yìí dọ́tì, all of them we call on just one function. All of them. Function kan péré ni gbogbo wọn máa pè. Now divide, multiplication, minus and plus, they will also call on the same functions gbogbo àwọn ilé náà pè, meaning that all of this 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and full stop, plus minus, multiplication, division, gbogbo wọn á pè function ẹyọkan péré. Then this equal to, we call on another function, ó jẹ́ function méjì, and eléyìí tá fi ń clear screen we call on another function, ó jẹ́ function mẹ́ta. So in our code, I'm expecting 3 functions. I'm expecting one function to handle all the numbers and the signs. I'm expecting another function to handle the equal to, and I'm expecting another function to handle the clear screen. This is clear. So meaning we are expecting 3 functions in our code. Function yọ mẹ́ta péré la fẹ́.
Okay.
Okay. The knowledge of parameterized function tá a ṣe lénìí ni a máa lò láti fi ṣe.
Jesus is Lord.
Today, yesterday, and forevermore.
Amen. Thank you.
Alright.
Yes, sir. Alright, so
Everyone send the recording, sir.
okay.